Hey, how's it going, guys? It's your retro future boy, Ricky Summer here, and today I've come back in time to steal a video idea wholesale from Northern Lion. But first, a message from our sponsor.
Ricky Summer. Buy his music, baby.
You heard it here first, guys. Ricky Summer is a filthy thief. Northern Lion has been doing tier lists out the wazoo lately, and it's time for your boy to do his own tier list. Possibly the greatest tier list of all time. I present to you the Temtem tier list. It's no secret that Temtem has captured my very heart, my soul, my essence, if you will. I love them. I love the little Temmies. Pokemon who? That's what I say. But listen, I won't deny it. Not every Temtem is a winner in my opinion. So now it's time to sort the men from the boys. So we're going to be judging on overall cuteness, that adorable factor. The factor that goes, even if a Temtem is pounding into you, just laying waste to you, having angry sex with you, not even buying you dinner. You're going, oh, he's a cutie. That Temtem's going to score high. Also, if the Temtem is useful, if I have personally found a particular Temmie useful during my playthrough, it's going to score high. If it's got a general badass vibe without looking too much like a tryhard, it's going to score high. If it looks like a trash monster and has no discernible use in the game whatsoever, that's going to be D tier from me. Alright, so with no further gilding the lily, and with no more ado, I give you the ultimate Temmie's tier list. Alright, first up, I'd like to do a little bit of reordering. I would like to start with the starter Temmies. I think it's only natural. Alright, first up, we've got Crystal. He's an adorable individual, make no mistake. He's kind of the sexual erotic love child of Bulbasaur and Squirtle, and yet he's not a water type, nor a nature type. He's a crystal type. What is that? That's weird, but you know what? It's also interesting. This guy's gonna score high, I'll tell you that much. However, it has one huge black mark against its name, and that's the fact that its name is entirely unoriginal. It's called Crystal. It's a crystal type, and it's just an alternate spelling of crystal. Like, how else would you say that? Crystal? Crystal? Nah, that's crystal. It's a crystal type called Crystal. As much as I would love to put this in S tier, just because it seems really powerful, and it's adorable, I'm sorry, that's an A tier Temmie. Next up, we've got Smazy. Straight up, it's a monkey. I hate monkeys. I don't trust them, I can't deal with them. So I'm inclined to think, this thing's gonna score low. Secondly, it looks a little bit weird. It looks like a fire monkey to begin with. Is it a fire monkey? It's not. It's a melee monkey. It's a fighting type. But I gotta tell you, I played a little bit with my buddy Stevens, who picked the Smazy as his starter. I'm warming a little bit to the little bastard. So normally, like monkey Temmies, that's gonna be a D tier from me. But just because he seems useful, and I don't immediately hate having him in my presence, B tier. Last of the starters, Hoochie. Is that how you say it? Hoochie. It's a mental type. Very interesting. Interesting for a starter. It's dark and salacious. It's got tentacles. It's a frightening hentai nightmare, and it makes me uncomfortable. This is the one that I chose to start with. Partially because I wanted to go with Crystal, but my buddy Slugs chose Crystal. I wanted I wanted to be different from my friends. So I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's embrace the madness. We'll go Perp. Perp's gonna win your points here, make no mistake. It's weird, it's got tentacles, purple, a little bit frightening and uncomfortable. I mean, this thing fucks. I'm gonna go A tier. Only because it makes me a little bit uncomfortable having it around. I don't like its feet. Its feet weird me out. But it has the potential to be S tier. Just know that this is an S tier Temmie, with the exception that points have been deducted because it makes me uncomfortable. Alright, next up, what is this thing here? What am I looking at? Ampling? It's an electric type. I haven't come across it. No, this is the Ampling right there. Alright, straight up, I don't like it. What is it? It's a deer? It's an electric deer? Deer are not fearsome. They're barely even cute. I'm sorry, I do not find deer adorable. Certainly not this one. I've never seen it. I don't know if it's in the game yet. It's D tier. I'm sorry. That's a D tier Temmie. And that turns into Amphitia? Okay. Look, it's a little more muscular. It's got some poise. It's certainly corrected its posture a little bit. I'm happy to put that in C tier. Again, disclaimer, I haven't seen this thing, I don't know if it's in the game yet. This frightening nightmare right here. A Gulda? A Blues. Let's rate the Blues first. It's toxic. That's gonna win points with me. I like sinister Temmies. You know, I feel like this man, he doesn't give a shit. Look at him. Look at his general demeanor. He's just out there living his best life, and everyone else be damned. Plus, he's giving me like vibes of Lickitung. So you know what? I'm gonna give this individual the benefit of the doubt. And despite the fact that I haven't encountered him in the game yet, that's gonna be a B tier Temmie from me. Its evolution, Gulda. I gotta be honest, some of these names I'm not 100% on board with. But Gulda, I feel like he's older, he's wiser, he's got more tongue action, A tier. Then we've got Pink Mew over here. Adoraboros, it's got adorable in its name. It is a toxic mental. It's like a frightening little pink Mew, and it's toxic? Oh, buddy, that's S tier. It is pink, it has adorable in the name, it looks like Mew, it's mental and toxic. I'm sorry, I do not see a downside here. That's an S tier Temmie. Anna here. This poor individual, forgive the spoilers, an experiment, condemned to a life of torture and suffering. Crystal fire type, an interesting combination. However, it is not cute. I see no facial expression. I see dead eyes. Surely as a result of its torture. I would love to help you out, buddy, but I only have so much compassion. That's a C tier Temmie. All right, let's reorganize a little bit here because they're out of order. We need to go from evolution 1 to the final evolution, to its final form. Okay, first up we've got Laponite. It's clearly a crystalline individual. I need to know more about it. Extremely common in Tukma. These little creatures are often the first Temtem of every young Quetzalleon. Quetzaleno. They are cheerful and resistant playmates for toddlers, and it is common practice to lightly file off the edges of their crystals to ensure safety. I don't like that. That's like docking the tail of a doggo. I'm sorry, but just out of protest for the mutilation of a wild animal? I mean, I'm putting this Temmie in the C tier, but really I'm putting its owners in the C tier. And I'm sorry, but it evolves into something that looks objectively worse. However, its third evolution, Xenareth? Is this a slug? This looks like a crystalline slug. I love it. That's an A tier Temmie. Bigu and Babawa. Where's Bigu? Alright, we've got the turtle slugs up next. The nature water turtle slugs. They are nature water, right? Okay, Bigu is nature and Babawa is nature water. I have one of these. I have a Bigu. It makes me uncomfortable. The lips disturb me. I've got to be honest, I find it more disturbing than the hoochie. Now, I'm a complicated tamer, make no mistake. Sometimes feeling a little bit uncomfortable around my Temmies, it's going to win you points. Sometimes it's going to lose you points. In the same way that hoochie missed out on S tier based on just making me feel a little bit uncomfortable, I think Bigu and Babawa are actually going to raise up to the B tier for making me uncomfortable. It's like a so bad it's good situation, you know? But let's be honest, they're just dirty big slugs with shells on their backs. I'm not into that. But you make me uncomfortable, so you're at least middle ground here. We're bringing you back to neutral, back to 1. Next up, the evolution of Smazy. Ba-boom! 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 That makes me uncomfortable, I'm sorry. To be perfectly honest, Smazy, you're mildly adorable, despite the fact that you are a monkey. However, this thing, it even references baboons in the name. I hate it, that's a D tier Temmie. I don't want anything to do with it. Listen, there's a very slim chance that I will one day own a Smazy. I will never let it evolve. This thing is a nightmare. We're getting into some decent Temmies now. We got some good picks coming up. Don't you worry about it. We're gonna even out this list. Banapi, Banapi? I don't know. Some of these names. Anyway, it's a sheep. It's on fire. It has no eyes. It's adorable. I love it. I love watching this thing follow me around. I've recently caught one. I've caught several. I'm very attached to it. I've called her Lava Girl. I've got Shark Boy and Lava Girl. She's fantastic. She's an S tier Temtem. All right. Banshee. I know this one all too well. Whenever I face a Banshee, I one-shot it every time without fail. It's a trash burb. It has no place on my team. I haven't even caught one. I traded with my buddy Stebbles just so I could complete that quest on the mountain. And now I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't want it anymore. I do not want a Banshee on my team. I'm sorry, Banshee, you have the stance of a musketeer, which I mildly respect, but you have no use to me. And as such, you're a C tier Temmie. The stance alone is saving this individual from being D tier. I want you to know this. All right, this thing I'm not immediately familiar with. A bun. Does that suggest that it's actually it's a crystal earth, it's a bunny? Is it a rabbit? And it evolves into this thing, which looks like a hare. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I almost feel like this thing is too cute. I don't like the way it's looking at me, but it is a bunny. It's called Bun. It's crystal earth, a very interesting combination. I haven't come across one yet. I don't know if it's in the game. I haven't caught one. I haven't seen one. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's high, you know? It's actually making me a little bit uncomfortable because of how cute it is. However, it evolves into whatever this is, a Mudred? No. It is no longer cute in the slightest. This is a tough one. I kind of feel like I'm being too soft on some of these Temmies. D tier. D tier until further notice. All right. Then we have the evolution of Lava Girl, our tender fire sheep. What is this one called? Capiri? I don't know. I'll tell you what, adorable. Not quite as adorable as this mess of fluff, more resplendent. Adorable and resplendent, and as such, it's an A tier Temmie. Now we're getting into the good stuff here. Now we're talking about some stuff that I know about. So what is this thing called? Spiroli? Is that right? Sprioli? Sprio? I don't know. There are clearly references here that I don't fully understand to languages that I do not speak, and that's okay. I'll be honest, the only reason I kept this on my team is because I saw what it evolved into, and I liked what I saw. I don't find it cute in the slightest. I find it a little bit annoying. I disliked having it on my team, but it evolves into something I enjoy a great deal. And as such, it is a B tier Temmie. Not too bad, but not too good either. However, then it turns into tendies for dendies over here. What is this, a dendry? Buddy. A deendry? Deendry? Sure. I can pronounce that. I love it. It's cute, but it looks fierce as well. It's like a leafy horse. Or a goat. Maybe it's a goat. I like it. It's an A tier Temmie. And here's something out of left field. I'm not usually a big fan of the third evolution. Usually they get too, gruesome. They get a little emo, a little bit too fierce. They start juicing. They're too swole. You know what I mean? They lose that cute factor. But let me tell you something about Kerneef here. Interesting name. Kerneef retains everything I love about Deendry and is almost an S tier. Let me swing this by you. If there was possibly like an A.5 tier or like an A plus or an S minus, that's where Kerneef would be. But for the moment, we're going to put this individual in the A tier. Okay, Fomu. Fomu is an interesting Temmie, I'll tell you that much. What's his evolution called? A Whiplump? Whiplump? That's fun to say. I like that. Fomu is adorable. It's a cutie. Make no mistake. Unfortunately, I don't think it's very powerful. It's also a dime a dozen, so it's not very special when you capture them. However, it is a cutie, and on its cuteness alone, it's A tier. Now, Whiplump, I haven't evolved my Fomu yet, but I've seen this individual around. It's a little bit awkward. I'm not gonna lie to you. It seems to somehow lose its mouth, and it's become some sort of dolphin unicorn. I'm not sure how I feel about Whiplump. He makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but I also empathize with it. I too am an awkward individual, and as such, Whiplump has been banished to the A tier. Alright, now we're coming up. Spoilers to a couple of my favorites. Genki, fantastic name. This was the first Temmie that I didn't rename myself because I thought this individual, electric powers, large damage. Genki is a perfect name. I'm sorry, this individual is an S tier Temmie. He's adorable too, look at him. He's a cute little bumblebee with like what do you call him? Coattails. He's got coattails. He's a cutie. And he drills like nobody's business. Ladies. It evolves into a Gazuma, and the thing I love about Gazuma is it's just as cute as Genki, just more. It's somehow the perfectly designed Temmie. It doesn't get too try-hard, too emo, too swole. It just gets a little larger, has a couple more trinkets, but it's still a cutie. I almost love it more. If there was an S+, this might be a strong contender. But for the moment, Gazuma is an S tier Temmie. Now we're getting into some of the flying individuals. Where are the rest of this? Here we go. So we've got the chicken boys. Paharu, Paharuk, and Grandpa. Paharu is a real cutie. It reminds me of a sparrow. At first I was thinking big sparrow energy. Then I realized, oh shit, it's actually a rooster. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Paharu is a big cutie. Don't find it super useful, but make no mistake, that cute factor is off the chain. And as such, Paharu is an A tier Temi. I actually think it's cuter than Fomu. Alright, then we've got Paharuk, loses its cute factor entirely, but still mildly useful, I think. I don't know, it gets one shot a lot. I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Now, I'm sorry, Grandpa, respect your elders and all that. However, its name is ridiculous. Its name is incredibly on the nose. It looks like Foghorn Leghorn after sniffing petroleum products. This is a trash tier. Trash tier Temi. This thing I have not seen. What is that? Gialis? It's a crystal melee. I gotta be honest, I don't know if this thing is in the game. I know very little about it, and as such, I don't feel right putting it in the D tier. It looks interesting, it's got some mystique to it. I'm happy to put it in C tier, until further notice. Alright, Hidodi evolves into this slug individual, Taifu. I'm not a fan of these two. Hidodi is mildly cute, but I'll be honest, it's just not doing it for me. However, I find it wholly unoffensive. And as such, it's being relegated to the B tier. This individual, however, Taifu, is a leafy slug. Seems far too happy with its plight. It's got these weird horn things and many arms. I find it creepy. I imagine it's got a white van somewhere. I don't like it. D tier. Alright, now we've got a couple of mental individuals. I've fought one of these, the Hocus. I fought the Hocus. I've seen it in action. I'll be honest, I'm excited to catch one myself. I'll happily put this in the A tier. It looks mysterious. It doesn't seem to be based off an animal, which to me gives it a little bit of mystique. Now make no mistake, not every non-animal Temi is a winner in my opinion, but some of them are, and this is one of them. It evolves into Pocus. Pocus? Pocus. I get it. We all have gyros on our bikes. I think Pocus loses something. Hocus has got a bit of a cute factor. Pocus is a little gaudy, but it only loses a couple points for this, so it's going to be B tier. I don't find it offensive, but it's not fantastic either. Alright, now we've got Kaku and Saku. Fantastic names. Kaku is a cutie, throws poison. I named mine after chemicals, very aptly named. Chemicals' favorite Temi. Don't let him tell you different. He's a cutie. Doesn't do like a lot of damage outright, but he's got that poison attack, and I find that very appealing. This is an A tier Temi. Believe it or not. Kaku seems to be tanking quite well for me, I'll be honest. However, it loses a little bit of the cute factor. Only a little bit though. Not enough to drop a whole tier. Again, this is a situation where we need like a B plus tier. Settle down, phone. We need a B plus tier or an A minus tier. But for the moment, Kaku is going in the A tier. Decent Temi, I don't use him often enough, but I respect Kaku. Alright, I'm not going to spoil how I feel about these two just yet. Let's talk through it. Kalazu and Calibos. You'll notice I don't have to look up the names of these two individuals. I know them well. Kalazu, let's be honest, looks like a spiky butt plug. However, it has tentacles. And we've already established that tentacle Temis gain points in my book. It's an octopus, squid-like creature. I find them very unsettling, but also severely awesome. Squid things are rad. Octopuses freak me out. But together, in butt plug form, I gotta tell ya, this is an A tier Temi. Now Calibos, the uncomfortable factor is ratcheted up like 3,000-fold. It gains a horn. It's got this like dead eyes stare. It's like somewhere between I've had enough of your shit and I'm actually going to absorb your essence. It gains some toxic abilities. It's a heavy hitter in the water department. I have a Calibos. I was very excited to get a Calibos. And as such, this is an S tier Temi. This thing I've seen around, I don't know what it is. It's a Kinu. It's a nature mental. It makes me uncomfortable, I don't like it. C tier. Now we've got Swali, Swalsbarkley, Swahili, and whatever it evolves into. To be perfectly honest, I don't care. Because it's a cocooned Temi, and it reminds me of Metapod, but more adorable, and I love it. It evolves into Loeli. Let me tell you something about Swahili. He's got those eyes, you know? but he's reserved. He's holding something back. He's got mystique about him. He's got the cute factor. Can he use harden? In a fashion, yes. Controversial opinion, it's a better Metapod. S tier. Loeli, I don't like its design. What is it? Is it a handkerchief? I can't tell. I think it's trying to be a moth, but it didn't quite make it. C tier Temmie. Alright, so if you caught the last stream, you'll know all about Magnus. I tried very hard to catch a Magnus. I think it's adorable. I think it's a real cutie. A real certified, bona fide cutie. What is it? Like a lava raptor? A lava shark? Based on what it evolves into, I'm inclined to think a raptor, but it's, it's certainly shark-like in some of its features. I love it. It's a cutie. I really wanted one. I caught like 15, 20 of them. Why? They all got trash stats. I don't know if it's my bad luck or if it's a feature of this particular Temtem, but buddy, stats are trash across the board. I eventually found one that was fairly balanced out and I've kept that individual. It's so close. It's so close to being an S tier Temtem, but because of its stats, it's A tier. It's such a cutie. It could have made S tier on its looks alone. Now Magnus evolves into Mastione. It's a fire raptor. It's very dinosaur-like. I'll be honest, I think it's trying a little too hard. But he's certainly a dope-looking individual. He completely loses the cute factor, but it looks like it might be able to glide. It's straight fire type. It looks very interesting. I've seen it following tamers around. I'm excited to evolve Magnus into this thing, and also a little bit sad because it'll lose the cuteness. Now, this is a real dilemma. This is a Sophie's choice. It gains a lot in badassery, not to be underestimated, but it loses all its cuteness. Considering that Magnus, scored so highly on its cuteness alone, is it right to put Mastione up in the A tier? B tier until further notice. It's an unknown commodity. I am yet to experience this thing firsthand. I would not feel right putting it in the A tier. And as such, we might have to shuffle some of these things around. You live and you learn. Everything is relative. We'll fix this up, make no mistake. All right, then we have some mushroom individuals. We've got Mushi and Mushuk. Mushuk. This is how it's going down. Mushi is a bit of a cutie, but I think too cute. A little bit Barbie dolly. Not my particular bag. However, it is a mushroom, and that excites me. It's toxic. That excites me further. I think I have to put it in the B tier. I haven't come across one. Actually, I have seen one in game, following a tamer. I'll put it in the B tier. Now, Mushuk has an absolute dope-ass name. The name slaps. It loses its overly cute factor and gains this kind of wry creepzilla look, which I respect. This is going in the A tier, on its name alone, and the fact that it looks like it's up to no good. Next up, we've got Mix. It's crystal mental. I have no strong feelings about it one way or the other. I have not seen one. I don't know if it's in the game. Oh, it's going evolution? Oclula? That's hard to say, dog. Alright, now that we've got a little something to compare it by, I feel more confident grading these two. Okay, Oclula actually looks creepier than Mix. It looks like a demonic Ewok. I'll be honest with you, I can't stand Ewoks, but I like this thing. I haven't seen one, I know nothing about it. Based on its looks alone, because it makes me slightly uncomfortable, I am raising it from the D tier to the B tier. Now let me hit you with this. Mix is trying too hard. It hasn't got that creepy cute factor. I don't know what it's doing. C tier, until further notice. Now this is an opinion that's not going to win me any friends, I think. It's a bit of a controversial opinion. We're talking about Nestler right here. It's interesting, it's a water electric. It is inherently both weak and strong against itself. It can heal from lightning attacks. Mechanically a very interesting Temtem. However, it is not cute. I find it personally difficult to use. I know others swear by it. I do not enjoy having it on my squad. However, I have to respect its complexity. And as such, it cannot go lower than the B tier. Next, we've got a couple of snake-like individuals. I have to be honest with you, full disclosure. I like snake-like creatures. Orphil and Nidrasil. Nidrasil, clearly a reference to Norse mythology. Interesting if true. It's nature toxic. This is a combination that intrigues me. It's a couple of snakes. It's a regular snake that evolves into at least a two. Is that a two-headed snake? How many heads? It's a three-headed snake. That snake has 3 heads. Jesus. I'm excited to find one of these. I've seen them around following tamers. I'm excited to find one of my own. This is how it's going to go down. Orphil is A tier. Nidrasil, a combination of Nidhogg and Yggdrasil, I'm sure, is also A tier. But like, A plus tier, S minus, until further notice. Alright, now we've got a couple of evolutions. We've got a Toxolotl and Noxolotl. What is this? Is this a slug? What type of creature is this? Can I get a full view of this thing? I can't tell. I can't see its legs. It's a mystery to me. I've never come across one of these individuals. However, they are toxic, and that wins points with me. So I think it's pretty clear that for the most part, barring some, visually striking features, anything that is an unknown commodity, among other things, ends up in the C tier. So I think based on the fact that it is toxic, and it looks a little bit weird, and I like the eyes of Noxolotl, and I like their name. That's sort of Aztec flavor to it. Both of these individuals are going to the B tier until further notice. Oshiara. I have caught 4 of these. I currently have one on my squad. I don't like how it looks. Honestly, it looks like something from Pokemon. And one of the things I like about Temtem is most of the Temmies are quite distinct. They do not look like copies of Pokemon. They do not look like they belong in Pokemon. Maybe with the exception of Smazy. Oshiara, to me, looks like a Pokemon. There's no doubting its power. It is very skilled with water abilities. It's not a personal favorite of mine. B tier. Now we've got a bit of a controversial Temmy here. A digital Temmy. Can it even be called a Temtem? I do not know. I don't have the answer to this. However, we are currently judging Ori and Zaobian. I hate these two. They're very powerful. I strongly dislike them. I hate that I have to fight them. I hate that I do not have them. I don't think they're currently in the game for tamers to catch, for players to catch. I don't hate the way they look, but I'll be honest, they're not cuties. They're actually well designed. I gotta just break the fourth wall for a second. I gotta say, I like the look of these two because Ori is kind of like, it could be cute, but it looks like a pale imitation of something that is cute. This is a tough one. I find them interesting, but I hate them. I think they're both going in the B tier until further notice. It's also worth noting that they're not that hard to defeat. Electricity, water, seems to be very strong against these digital Temmies. B tier, until further notice. Now we've got some interesting individuals. We've got Pookie and Piranarant. It's a bit of a hard one to say. Piranarant. It's meant to be like piranha and giant, mushed together. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks here. Pookie is a cutie, make no mistake. Almost too cute. I like Pookie. I was excited to catch one of these. More so because I was excited to evolve it into a Piranarant. Piranniant. I just call mine Shark Boy. Shark Boy and Lava Girl. You get it. This is a tough one. Based on the fact that I find it too cute, I'm really tempted to put it in the B tier. I don't think it deserves the A tier treatment. However, once again, if there was a hypothetical B plus tier, A minus tier, that's where Pookie would live. However, Shark Boy is an S tier Temtem. Not quite as powerful in my experience as Calibos in the water abilities, but he's a toughie. He can take a hit. I like the hunger in his eyes. I still find him cute, and I love that hunger in his eyes. I love it. He's ready at all times. He's a big boy. He's a thick boy too, and I appreciate that in a Temmy. To Shark Boy, I say yes. I always have him along with me. Alright, Pick. Alright, I'll be honest, at first I loved this guy. I thought he was a cutie. Then I started to fight him a little bit. Then I found out he doesn't have an evolution, as of yet. I'm a little bit down on Pick at the moment. However, it is a cute pig. A cute flying pig. And I think based on that alone, it's saved from anything lower than B tier. Keep in mind, Pookie, B plus tier. Pick, bottom of the B. Not B minus, make no mistake, but like lower B. You understand? Alright. Then we have 3 blue ducks, and they are quite literally blue ducks. What are they called? I haven't come across these things before. Oh, they're platypuses. Platypet, Platox, and Platymus. I'm sorry, I hate this. Platymus looks like the grumpy old uncle of Donald Duck. I dislike this. D tier. I'm sorry. Platox? Only marginally better in the C tier. It's just a grumpy duck. This blue thing, I don't like its color, I don't. However, it looks like a cutie. I really dislike that color. Maybe its Luma looks alright. I feel bad putting it in any tier lower than B. Alright, now we've got a little bit of an interesting critique over here. We've got Raybur, which is a name that makes me uncomfortable. It evolves into Rays, a little bit edgy, but I don't hate it. And then it evolves into Raycan, which I don't understand. Are these lions? Are these fire lions? I'm sorry, I'm not a big cat man, so I've got inherent bias against lions. In fact, I dislike lions most of all felines. This is a tough one. Raber? Not a fan. I own a couple because I know it evolves. I think Raber, for me, is a C tier Temmie. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, I don't like it. It looks like Hercules as a teenager. You know what I mean? However, it evolves into Raze, and Raze is a little bit badass, so I'm gonna put him into the B tier. I'm excited to evolve it into Raze. Easy name to pronounce too. Sure, a little bit edgy, but it gets the point across. However, Raycan, too gaudy. It looks like Raze spruced up for a night on the town, and I dislike that. C tier. No better than its first iteration. What's next? What is this thing? I've never seen this thing before in my life. Ragnet? Its type is unknown. That's intriguing. I'm inclined to think this is probably not in the game yet. It is rumored to be an electric type. It is known to evolve from an unnamed Temmie. It's not available in game and cannot be captured or battled. Alright, I think out of fairness to this Temtem, it's going in the C tier because it is an unknown commodity. However, based on how it looked in this image right here, I'm not a fan. It looks like a chicken knight who got too swole for its armor. I don't like it. Now we've got Psypat, the Duckman. It conjures up images of Psyduck. I enjoy Psyduck, one of my favorite Pokemans. However, Psypat is a piece of trash. At first I thought he was a cutie and I was excited to catch one. Then I started using one on my squad and I immediately fell out of love with it. I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna go so far as to say that it's a piece of trash, but I will say that it is C tier. I don't enjoy it. I only find it mildly offensive, but I don't like having it on my squad. Alright, so now we've got the evolution of Crystal, which is called Sherald. Shemerald. Sherald? Sherald, really? Now if it was Shemerald, I'd be like, yo, that's interesting. Sherald. That just sounds like my uncle's wife. Sherald, I've seen it around. This picture does not do it justice. It's a big crystalline turtle. It looks like the sexual erotic love child of like Venusaur and Blastoise or something. I gotta say, I like it. I do. I'm gonna say it's A tier. That's an A tier Temtem. Maybe on the lower end of A. Not A minus, but on the lower end of A. Let's do all the evolutions. Let's throw in Tentel here. Is that what it's called? Tentel. It has tentacle in the name. Yes, it's just a bigger version of Hoochik. But you know what? It's got more tentacles on it, and I respect that. It is purple, it's tentacled up, it's got tentacle in the name, it's frightening, it's uncomfortable. This is a tough one. I don't think it deserves S tier. However, I will put it on the higher end of A. This could be like an S minus, or simply just the higher end of A. Alright, what is this individual? Shuin? I don't know. It's a crystal water type. I haven't seen one out in the wild. I don't know how they play. I know very little about it. It looks to be some kind of crystalline snake. You know how I feel about snakes? I think because of my inexperience with this particular Temmie, until further notice, C tier. Alright, now we've got Scale and Scrunch. Is that right? Is that what it's called? Yes, Scunch. Sorry, Scunch. It's even worse. Scale and Scunch. Scale is an interesting one. I disliked this individual at first. However, then I got to Island 2 and realized I'd only leveled up water types and was fighting predominantly nature types, and I was fucked. So then I went back and leveled up my Scale. Mine had Scavenger, which gives it a little bit of health every time a Temmie on your team or the other one faints, which I like a great deal. I found it very useful. It seems to be a good workhorse. It's a neutral type. Not a lot of neutral types. I'm often not a big fan of neutral types. Not a big fan of the design. I don't think it's cute. I don't find it funny. I dislike having him on my team. However, I cannot discount how useful it was to me. And as such, it's saved from the C tier. Now Scunch is just like a scruffy, shittier looking version of Scale. However, I somehow find it more appealing. It looks like a homeless Sonic the Hedgehog, and I appreciate that. I can't in good conscience elevate this man to tier A. I can't do it. However, if there were a B+, or even just perhaps the higher end of A, we could make that happen. Alright, this thing, Sparzy, I fucking hate this thing, alright? I hate it with every fiber of my being. I hate fighting it, I hate its grin, it makes me uncomfortable, I don't want anything to do with it, I never want to see it again, I don't want to catch one, it's the worst Temmie on the face of the planet, remove it. No. D tier. If there was a D-, if there was a lower tier than D, Sparzy would live in this tier. he would be banished to this tier, a Tartarus tier. If we had a Tartarus tier where we could lock away the worst offenders, that's where I would put Spazi. Next, Teteru. Mildly cute, but very vanilla. Another neutral type, not a big fan of it. It's a tall hamster, but again, I got to the second island and I had nothing to combat these rampant nature types. So I went back, and along with my scale, I leveled up Teteru. And he's a decent workhorse, and as such, he is saved from the C tier. Barely. I never want to use him again. Alright, we've got Toucan Sam over here. What is this thing called? Tuai. I'm not a big fan of Tuai. It's a toucan. That's it. Very little originality, no imagination. I don't like having Toucan Sam on my team. However, I do find it interesting that it is this game's equivalent of Eevee and can evolve into a crystal type. I think, what other types does it have? They're not in the game yet. Only the crystal type is in. It can evolve into a couple different things. Anyway, that interests me. So when those other evolutions make it into the game, maybe I will give Tuai another chance. But for the moment, he is C tier. He is only saved from the D tier because he has interesting evolutions. It evolves into Tuvine. That's the crystal type here. I have no experience with this individual. However, I think it has a better look than Tuai, a little more creative. I've seen it flying around. It interests me. B tier. Okay, now we have a couple of sea monkeys. Umishu and Ukama. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of these individuals. However, I find them wholly unoffensive. Maybe one day I will level them up and actually use them on my squad. But for the moment, they are both being relegated to the B tier. Not too bad, not too great. Wholly unoffensive. Valish, I think is what this one is called. Valish. It is a neutral crystal. That's interesting. Riddle me this, Batman. If it's neutral crystal, wouldn't that just make it crystal? Is the neutral actually a type? Or is it a lack of a type? These questions and more answered at 11. Valish is interesting. It's some sort of rodent with claws. I think I like it. I think I do. I think I want one. But I know very little about this individual. I like its look, however. And thus it's been saved from the B tier. Sorry, from the C tier it's been saved. It is not being saved from the B tier. It is in fact living in the B tier. Alright, this one is apparently one of Chemical's favorites. He told me personally. It's like a unicorn goat. Is it an electric type? I think that's what I heard. What's it called? Valia? It's unknown. Its type is unknown. Mysterious. I gotta tell you, I like its look. Has not got the cute factor. However, it does look like a badass. And I think I wouldn't mind having this individual on my team. So it's going in the B tier. I don't think it's in the game yet though. Okay, now we've got a couple of individuals that excite me a great deal. We've got Zephyruff and Volorend. They are toxic wind types. They are toxic birds. That interests me a great deal. I think Zephyruff has the cuteness factor. It looks like a grumpy Englishman, and I like that. And I think because of that, it's like and the fact that it's a plump little bird, and it's toxic, A tier. Fantastic. I'm very excited to find one. I want one on my squad. Alright, then it evolves into Volorend. And I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about Volorend. It gets a little bit scrawny. It loses its cuteness and just kind of looks mean. That being said, it could still be an interesting Temmie. It really remains to be seen. And as a result, I'm going to put it in the B tier. I find it unoffensive. Alright, now we've got this individual here. I say individual because they basically all look the same. Volvir, Vulor, and Volcrane. It's Cubone. I like Cubone. These guys interest me, but I gotta be honest with you, I've had a dickens of a time catching one. I just keep killing them accidentally. On further inspection, I think maybe I don't like them so much. I don't think they change enough as they evolve. That's certainly that's gonna lose them points here a little bit. That being said, I haven't really got a clear picture of them. I've seen Volvir and I've seen Vulor in game. I have not seen Volcrane in game. So I think Volcrane is gonna have to go into the C tier until further notice. This is like the auxiliary tier. This is the standby, waiting room, loading dock tier. Maybe you're gonna be upgraded later on. Or maybe you'll be demoted to trash tier. Who knows? I think Volvir is a little bit cute. It's kind of squat and round. And as a result, the upper end of B tier. If there were a B+, that's where Volvir would live. However, Vulor, not a huge fan of. It's that awkward adolescent middle evolution. You know what I mean. Venusaur, the Squirtle one, War Turtle, you get it. C tier. Now this is not a C tier out of ignorance. This is a C tier out of, I don't like you very much. But it may evolve into a C tier out of ignorance. A C tier that deserves a B or A tier. it remains to be seen. Alright, the last Temmie. We've got the Egyptian chin snake. Zizare. It is Earth. It is an Earth snake. Let's be honest, it's Onyx. Let's be doubly honest, it's a more rad looking version of Onyx. I like it. I like it a great deal. I don't know if it's currently in the game. Cannot be encountered in the game currently. There you go. But I'm excited for it to be included. I want to catch one. I would like to ride one. It looks big, but I don't know for sure. I like it. I'm going to put it in the A tier. I'm excited. I'm excited to find out about that one. All right, let's do some readjustments here. I think first up, we need to rank within the tiers a little bit. So straight off the bat, Calibos is the greatest of the S tier, followed by Guzuma and then Shark Boy, then the Flame Sheep. And I think just because I'm ignorant on this particular Temmie, the pink Psycho Mew is going last. This is my ranking from greatest to worst. I'm very happy with that. All right, moving on to the A tier. This is a tough one because we're starting to include some Temmies that I haven't personally experienced. But I think my favorite of the A tier is probably going to have to be Kalamazoo, if only because it makes a funny sound when you throw it out of its Tem card. It goes like, whoa. I like it. It's like a muffled lull. I appreciate that. This is tough. I'm letting my personal bias show. I think maybe Magnus and then Hoochik, and then we have to go Tendies for Dendies, and then its evolution, and then Crystal. No. Then the Flame Sheep's evolution, then Crystal, then Fomu, then Fomu's evolution, then Hocus, then Kaku and Saku. Get over there, dude. Then Paheru. Now you may be asking, you may be wondering, hey Rick, you've raved about some of these ones at the end here. Why aren't they higher on the list? Well, I cannot in good conscience say this Mushroom Man that I love is the very tippy top of A tier, because I don't own him. I can't say that the Toxic Large Bird is the tippy top of A tier because I haven't experienced this individual. And I think for that reason, the rest of these individuals have to be left in limbo. Maybe we throw the Crystal Slug thing and Tongue Man at the end. Tongue Man is a little bit better. Okay, let's put the Burb in there. Mushroom at the end. I'm pretty happy with this actually. Maybe we'll throw the Tentacle Man up a little bit further, you know. All right, we're good. B tier. This is the definition of Sophie's choice. Who is the tippy top of B tier? This is a hard one to answer. I think it has to be Mastione, Magnus's evolution. Beyond that, no. Pookie is the tippy top of B tier because he's like B+, remember? Beyond that, I'm not overly concerned. I'm happy with Smazy in the third spot. Other than that, I don't care that much about these guys, you know? B tier, with the exception of like the tippy top of B or the B+, A-, like Pookie. Like I said, they're unoffensive, but not too great. I don't care that much about them. C tier, I'm gonna start ranking based on who's the worst. Raber and its evolution, going at the bottom. Toucan Sam, definitely at the bottom. This Nightmare, at the bottom. Maybe Toucan Sam is a little bit worse. Let's throw the Moth Handkerchief right below Duckman. This is a tough one. I feel like the Angry Platypus is even worse. I think the rest of this I'm mostly happy. You know what? No, Banshee is almost as bad as Toucan Sam. I think I'm happy with this. And we'll raise up the evolution of Cubone here. Because it's an unknown commodity, right? We don't know yet. Alright, the absolute trashy of the trash. Again, we're going from worst to best. I'm gonna leave the Electric Deer at the top here, because it's an unknown commodity. I don't know, but I don't like the look of it. But I don't know. We all know how we feel about Sparzy. I don't even know its name. Is that what it is? Sparzy? Spazy? Where is this Nightmare? Sparzy? I hate it. If there was a worse tier than D, that's where it would live. It's right at the bottom. I dislike Donald Duck's Angry Grandfather. I also dislike Foghorn Leghorn. The later years. I think I dislike this Crystal Rabbit Hair hybrid a little more than the Slugman. At least the Slugman's got a little bit of a cute face. Following that, whatever this thing is, I'm happy with this. I gotta say, I'm interested. I'm taken aback a little bit, but it's certainly curious that the evolution of Smazy, as much disdain as I have for it, is near the top of the D tier. I'm happy with this list. I'm looking at the top 2 tiers and I'm going, yes, this is my Temmie squad. I would take these guys into battle and I would die for them. This is fantastic. Alright, let me know what you think. What's your favorite Temmie? How right am I with my list? Tell me about all the instances where you agree with my list. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to gently caress that like button. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Ricky Summer, out.